Hey everybody, and welcome to Dig In, y'all. On this episode today, we are cooking with Mama, and we're in my house. So we're gonna make lasagna, we're gonna have a great time, and of course, we're gonna be drinking. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dig In, y'all. Just to let you know, we are here with Mama. We're at my house today, and we are gonna be cooking one of those great meals that I absolutely loved as a kid. It reminds me of vacation, it reminds me of the holidays, you name it, it was good for me. We are doing Mama's lasagna today. She's gonna share some of her secrets, and I'm gonna show you a twist or two that I did on this one. So we're really looking forward to this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. That's right, I don't keep all your recipes the same. But first of all, like every show, we're gonna be drinking. So today we've got an amazing small vineyard blend. It's a Montepulciano and Sangiovese blend from Italy. We're cooking Italian today. What could go wrong with that? So we're gonna start off by pouring ourselves a great glass of this. That's all Mom really needs. And then I'm gonna pour myself a glass, of course. Remember, I'm all about small vineyards, small, supporting the little guy, having some great fun, having some great wines. You can find great stuff that's all over the world. And what better thing to do than to start a great meal with a good Italian blend. So, Mom, cheers. Mwah. Here's to cooking.
Cheers.
Man, that's good.
That is good.
Well, in order to get started, we'll just really get started. Yeah, there you go. She's making faces at me already. This could be a really interesting episode, y'all. I promise I didn't drink that much before we got started. Tell us why this is such a nostalgic meal for me.
Well, today we're doing the lasagna, and it brings back great memories to all of our family because our favorite place in the world to go as the kids were growing up was Destin, Florida. So, working long hours, as Chad said, and in school and school activities, this was great to make ahead of time. And what I would do would be to prepare the meat and just refrigerate it. And then the next day, when I came home, I would just put the lasagna together and actually not bake it, but take it with us to Florida. Then the next day, the first night we arrived, we always had a mega salad, and of course, Dad and I had one, and the boys would have whatever, and hot French bread and our lasagna. It was our tradition for 15, 16 years probably, maybe even 18.
You create these traditions. It's all about creating special moments with special people. If you care about them, cook with them. If you care about them, cook for them. It really is not about white knuckling in that kitchen. I can't say that enough. I say it every week. We talk about these things over and over and over again. I really want you all to remember, these times are special. They create memories. A meal, it engages all 5 of your senses. Sight, smell, you touch it, the textures, the taste of things. They're all just great things. The sound of that meat when it's browning and you're adding in those great vegetables. The way you feel after a great glass of wine, that's a whole other story. So one of the first things that we did today was we took 2 pounds of ground beef and 1 pound of ground pork. So I'm gonna take this lid off. Ooh, that's really hot. There's not enough wine in me yet, otherwise I can just grab that puppy. And we have slowly started browning this meat. So all that's really in here, that lid is really hot, Mama, so don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Yes, sir.
Drink your wine, but don't touch that. You're really gonna let this brown. Get yourself a really good pot. We're gonna just kind of break that up. And again, you can see the lighter color is the pork and the darker color in there is your beef. We've got it nice and brown. It smells really good. But, this is Dig In. I am from Louisiana. I learned a lot of these tricks from Mama, so we know what's gonna go in here. We know that we're gonna have purple onions, we're gonna have yellow onions, and we're gonna have bell pepper. So I'll dump, Mom, if you stir.
Okay.
Or do you want to dump and
I'll
stir?
dump, you stir.
Okay, she's gonna let me touch the hot pot. Here, let's do this.
Oh, that's right.
So we can dump this in here. Remember, it's onions. If you get a little bit on your fingers, a little bit of onion, it's good. Sweet onion, it's all good.
Looking good.
Smells
Smells
amazing.
even better.
Great smells, great times. We're gonna go ahead and add in that yellow onion. Let me tell you, good sweet Vidalias. Pop them right in.
This
And
makes
of
it
course,
extremely juicy.
green bell peppers. We're adding, so we've added 1 large Vidalia onion, 1 large purple onion. Now we're gonna add 2 large green peppers. Now here's the best thing. You heard Mama say this earlier. She'd make the sauce the night before. Well, why? Because remember, we talk about this on every single show. We're gonna let those flavors marry and get to know one another. We're gonna let all those flavors form a great relationship. You having trouble with that hot pot?
Hot.
There you go. We're gonna let all those flavors come together and make really good music together and create good times. So your food does it too. The same way we spend time together and have a great time and make things mix and mingle and turn all delicious, you're gonna let your food do that as well. Remember, low and slow. So we got good browned meat in here. Y'all know I say it every week, brown is sexy, baby. So you can hashtag that or whatever you want. But then, brown is sexy, brown deliciousness, but bacon's beautiful. So of course, we're gonna add about a tablespoon of bacon grease to this mixture. Why? Well, because I can. You know I've always got that, look at that. I got some of the dregs of that bacon, the actual pieces of chunks of meat and everything else. Look at that, look at that bacon, fat, and grease. We're just gonna add a little bit of that. Why? Because we can and because it's delicious. So when we come back from the break, we're gonna finish making our meat sauce. We're gonna put together our lasagna and look out, it's gonna be delicious. So dig in, y'all. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dig In, y'all. So we are here, we've continued, while you guys were on the commercial break, we've let our meat continue to brown, our vegetables sweat. They've gone and turned, the onions are great and translucent now, the bell peppers are cooking, all those flavors are marinating. So what we wanna do is, we're gonna add now 1 chopped up red bell pepper. I mean, look how good that is. Right out of the yard, we're good with that. Add that in. I always make Mom nervous. Mom, how much celery do you want?
2.
2 ribs, so we're just gonna go ahead and chop right off the top here. Remember, celery's a great thing. It's only in the US that we really use the tops of the celery. You head to Europe,
They
Mom
only
can tell
use
you
the bottom.
plenty of stories about being in Hungary and how they only use the root of the celery. So we're gonna go ahead and chop ourselves some celery here. Remember, good knives are key to everything. This is one of my favorite vegetable knives here.
That's plenty.
Mama's boss told me it's plenty. If it were me, you're adding more, because remember, more is not necessarily bad.
Not necessarily good either.
Here we go.
Moderation. Moderation.
Oh.
Where's Kevin when you need him? The big M. Moderation.
All right, so we're gonna let that kind of start to wilt in there and kind of get going. Get it good and stirred up. We've got some great spices and seasonings, of course, that we're gonna use. I'm not gonna let it go anywhere. I haven't had that much to drink. I will never let food hit the floor. And if I do, I'll pick it up and eat it.
Probably so.
So.
Okay,
All
ready
right,
for
Mom.
the good stuff. Now we have some Cajun seasoning, Chad's Cajun seasoning, which is a secret.
So remember, we've got garlic powder, red pepper, onion powder, a little bit of everything in there.
More garlic.
Mom's putting in a lot more garlic. This is some dried garlic that we've got here. Remember, it's me and it's Mom. So if
And
it's
we're
got
Cajun and this is Italian.
yeah, so there's a good mix going on here. What you adding in now, Mom?
Secret. No. This is all the Italian seasoning.
All right.
Basil, thyme, oregano.
Some basil, some thyme, some oregano, a little bit of rosemary in there.
Smells wonderful.
Got all kinds of good stuff going in. And everybody's sitting here wondering, there's a couple of things that you can do now. If you want to roast your own tomatoes, go ahead and blister those tomatoes in the oven, puree them and add them in. The other thing that you can do is get yourself some really good tomato paste. cheat and buy the really cheap stuff. Buy some really good tomato paste. So get some tomato paste, which Mom just grabbed, and she's gonna go ahead and add some tomato paste in.
Now we're using tomato paste. However, the last time I made the lasagna, I actually used Chad's vegetable dish that we grill, and it's so juicy and so good. It's got every vegetable imaginable. And I just sauteed that and added a whole tomato, and it made an incredible sauce. So you can use anything. You can use crushed tomatoes, you can use whole tomatoes, you can use tomato paste. I like tomato paste because it thickens it a little bit.
The idea is to thicken the sauce up a little bit. One of the things, I'm getting orders to stir now. So one of the things that we're doing is we're adding this tomato paste in. And Mom was talking about the last time she did the sauce, she used my old roasted vegetable recipe. So you can add in probably about 12 ounces of tomato paste to get it good and thick.
That's what
get that redness going. So that's about what we've got in here. That roasted vegetable is those grilled onions, bell peppers of every color, garlic, zucchini. You can use squash if you want, summer squash. And what we did was we just grilled all those vegetables. And so see, Mom's gonna add everything in. So we're not gonna waste any. So we've got a little bit of red starting to happen here. And that looks amazing. It smells even better. And I've had enough wine that I can't even feel how hot the side of this pot is right now. But let me tell you, it's hot and there will be blisters later. Thank you very much. Okay, so you can see our meat's getting good and red. If you have any questions about anything, remember you can find us on Facebook at A Whole Heap. Tweet us your questions. I want to say thank you so much to Susie, who tweeted us last week and said that we actually made her Sunday. Look, that's what we're about. We're about having fun here. We're not about freaking out or about getting overly controlling about your cooking. You know, we really want you to have fun in the kitchen. These smells are incredible right now, let me tell you.
Could I have some more?
You need to drink some more wine? Here you go. You can pour yourself another glass. Yes, you can add red wine, just please.
It gives an incredible flavor.
Never add wine you're not gonna drink. If you're not gonna drink it, don't put it in your food. Sadly, she just added some really delicious wine to my
I'll just drink one glass less.
So, okay, that's fine. As long as you don't cut me off a glass, we're good.
Or you could drink one glass less.
Well, that's not gonna happen. We all know that. So here we are. We've added some red wine. We've got it going here. You can see how that sauce is thickened up. Oh, it smells absolutely delicious. So the next thing that we're gonna do when we come back, we are gonna go ahead and we are gonna assemble our lasagna, get it good and ready. Mom's added some red wine. Because I can, I'm gonna add a little more bacon fat. And she says, But you know me, I love that bacon fat, y'all. So we're gonna add a little bit more of that, stir it up, and on the other side of the break, we're gonna assemble that lasagna. And you know me, let's face it, I've already got one in the oven. So y'all come back and be ready. Dig in, y'all. Welcome back, y'all. So we've let our meat brown, we've let all those flavors marry, we've put our meat in bowls here so you guys can actually see what we're doing. We've gotten that big old pot out of the way, but we are now, it's now time to, well, yeah, drink, because Lord knows I need it at this point.
Cheers.
So,
first of all, this is way too much.
It's not way too much, it's butter.
It is, it's too much.
It'd be better with bacon grease, but she wouldn't let me use bacon grease, so that's the bottom line.
First you take your hand and you spread it.
And here we go.
And then you get rid of all of this at the bottom because it'll make it too greasy. It'll all rise to the top.
It'll be delicious.
And you don't need all this. So could you dump that?
No, I'm not gonna dump it out. Here, look, just do this, shake it through. And we've got a little bit, you know, we got a little bit going on right here.
Okay, so this is the new recipe.
So look, lasagna noodles. Go ahead.
Lengthwise.
Because I wasn't gonna put them in right. Here we go. We've done 2 pounds of lasagna noodles. You won't need the whole 2 pounds, but you'd better have extra than not have enough.
But see, there's so much butter, it's slipping all over the place.
Well, you know, I don't have that problem when I make mine. So there you
But
go.
this is mine.
With my twist. So I'm gonna go ahead and layer the bottom of that pan with your lasagna noodles. Some are gonna be broken, some are gonna be ugly. You wanna try and use the better ones here.
And broken ones for crossing. That in it?
So break it. Here we go. We're gonna go ahead and do that. Got a few more here.
One more.
The dogs are getting all excited because we've got all this delicious food going on here right now. So we're gonna go ahead and get that done. We've got our first layer of noodles in. So now we're gonna go ahead and Mama's gonna do that first layer of meat.
Does this not look scrumptious?
And remember, don't go cheap on it, like pile it in there. You know, you don't have to be super careful. If you're worried about it being too juicy, you can kind of use a spoon with holes in it. You can do all kinds of good stuff. You know, just go ahead and slather that meat in there and get it good and thick in there.
The main thing to be concerned about is that it will overflow. So
here's the hint. If it does overflow, it's no big deal because you can actually take this and put it on a baking sheet that's bigger than the pan. If it does overflow, stuff happens. If you've had enough wine, you won't care anyway. So go ahead and slather that in. Your next layer is going to be ricotta cheese. So some people use cottage cheese, some people use ricotta. Personally, I'm a fan of the ricotta. Mom is very dainty with it. Again, if it were me putting it in here, I'd be slathering that stuff all over the place. She's gonna do a couple
I want it pretty.
It's in the middle of a casserole. You're never gonna see it if it's pretty or not until you cut it. And it won't make a difference at that point. So Mom's put in a few dollops here. Now remember, depending upon how much sauce you make, how big a pan you have, you can do all kinds of different stuff. You can do whatever you'd like. It's all good. Go ahead and smear some of that around. Just kind of smush those dollops down if you like. Once again, Mama's gonna try and make it pretty. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna use cheese liberally. We're all about tons of cheese. Well, I'm all about tons of cheese. So the bottom line is you can do all kinds of different stuff. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna add a layer of
mozzarella.
So go ahead and shred that mozzarella up really good. If you want, use a lower moisture pre-shredded mozzarella because that's gonna keep the water level down. The noodles, when you're doing the noodles, if you wanna cook them about 3/4 of the way rather than all the way, you are gonna bake this. So if you go ahead and do that, what you'll do is when it bakes, the moisture from that will go into the lasagna noodle. You'll be better off and you'll be able to go ahead and...
Now.
She's now pushing down
just
on
in
lasagna.
case it wants to boil over, I just press it down so I have more room.
Okay.
The more the better in this particular
All
case.
right, so we're just gonna go ahead and do one light layer of noodles next. You don't have to do all the crisscrossing and everything else here. You don't have to overlay them too thick because let's be really honest, it's not about the noodle, it's about the cheese and the meat, and that's the bottom line. That's what I really want. Mama's laying them over about 3/4 over each noodle to create a thick layer of noodles here.
And what would Chad do?
I would use about half this amount of noodles, just me personally. Oh, pfft. So here you go. We'll go ahead and do that. See, we did 2 pounds of noodles, and we've got a smaller pan here. You can use a much larger pan. Like when we were growing up, that pan was ginormous. So we've got another layer of noodles here. So of course, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna repeat that. We're gonna put another layer of meat in. So we've got that going, and it's all good. It's all delicious here. Mom's being a little careful here. So.
Don't overflow. Whoa.
Don't overflow. Whoa.
It's topping.
Here we go. It's my first day in the kitchen, y'all. Drama with the mama. It's all about lasagna and drama with the mama. Look here. See, I told you it wasn't too much.
There you go.
Occasionally the sun's right. Okay.
Which one, Kevin?
Okay. So next layer, if you've got a deeper pan and you want to do multiple layers instead of just 2, you can go ahead and do 3, 4, 5 layers. The key is use your ricotta or your cottage cheese, depending upon which one you want to use. since we're gonna go ahead and use ricotta, we're gonna put a thinner layer here, but then we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna put a layer of Swiss on top. Why? Well, Swiss is gonna brown better, it's gonna bubble up better. Here. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna start that.
Couldn't help it, huh?
Nope, I couldn't help it. I couldn't wait. I was tired of waiting.
You do that side, I'll do this side. See
My side will be better.
which one looks better.
Well, here's the best thing. You're never gonna know what side looks better because, like everything on Dig In, y'all, I know that we've got a bunch of people coming over today, so I made a ginormous lasagna. So we're feeding about 12 to 14 people. This is a family of 4.
Maybe,
and notice Mom
maybe 6, depending on how much they
no kind of
eat.
family I'm feeding. But I gotta tell you right now, when you look at this pan, you can see Mom's worried about the bubble over effect. So she's left the cheese a little more towards the center and she's gonna let it melt down and out towards the sides. Again, if you wanna not worry about that, you can throw it all over and just be sloppy with it. It's all good.
Let's see the real thing.
Let's see the real thing, okay. So all right, I'm gonna go grab in the oven. I'm gonna grab our one that we've cooked. Mom's gonna make me some room here. The dog's gonna get out the way.
Oh.
So, I'm telling you right now, mine looks better. Look at that, y'all. Now that's feeding the family.
Ooh, ooh.
That's for friends. That plate's really nice and hot. Mom has to play with it. She can't just let it be. So what happens is she's taking a little bit of that grease from the cheese off of there. Now the only thing is when you go to cut into this, if you take too much of the grease away, it's gonna end up being dry and it's not gonna wanna separate from itself. So again, we've got these great layers going on here. Some delicious food, even better wine. Cheers, Mom.
Cheers. You're a good student, even though you're difficult at times.
The difficult student.
Sometimes very difficult.
So we're gonna go into this and we're gonna just start.
However, you do need to let this sit and rest to chop and serve.
Unless
when you want
you're
it to
really
be pretty.
hungry and you don't want to let it rest, you don't have to. To make it pretty, if you want to serve it up and have it be pretty, you are going to want to rest. I read mine. Anyway, you're going to want to let it rest a good 5 to 10 minutes. Let that start to cool down and set. Let that grease kind of soak back in. As it starts to cool, the noodles are going to set. Everything's going to set into place. But you know, let's be really honest. Everybody knows I have no patience. I'm going to go ahead because I want to just dig into this thing. But everybody knows I'm a cheese freak. So I'm just going to rip a piece of that.
That's going to be so hot.
It is going to be so hot and I'm going to burn the heck out of myself, but you know what? It's going to be good.
Oh, child.
Yeah. Ooh.
That is ridiculous. It's so hot.
That's really hot.
You won't
but it's
taste anything
really,
for a
really good.
week.
We'll see y'all next week. And remember, dig in, y'all.
Never
No, I
listen.
don't listen.
See how all that juice leaks out if you let it cool. That would
Well, it'll be fine. It'll be good. It's still going to be good.
Taking this grease out too.
Heaven forbid it's not perfect and pretty.
Presentation.
I'm going to end up saving that grease and I'm going to end up using it in something else.
That's fine.
I'll brown some meat with
After
that.
I leave, you can do whatever you want.
Story of my life.
Oh, baby, is that hot?
Oh, boy.
Oh my gosh. Oh, is that good?
Look.
Oh, I don't know if I can.